so this is the week 8 recording. We're going to be going over lesson 13. Alright, so I'm not going to complete this question, but I do want to talk about the difference between area and perimeter. Okay, in case you forgot, area is length times width, and then perimeter is all four sides or all the outside lengths added together. So that's length plus length plus length plus length. So perimeter is all the outside added together, and area is length times width. We'll use that later, and there's some questions in this lesson that ask you for area and perimeter, which is why I had those. Okay, so lesson intentions are I'll be able to define parts of an equation, I'll be able to write an equation from a problem, and I will be able to decode tables and the information in them. And also our first letter of the quiz code is P as in panda, lowercase. P as in panda, lowercase. Okay, so parts of an equation. The first, so this right here, this y equals kx plus c, this is the format for which you will be using when you write your equations. Okay, so this y equals kx plus c, I would write this somewhere. I would put it on a sticky note, I would put it on a sheet of paper so that you have it, not only to help you with this lesson, but to also have this to reference when you're taking your exam. Okay, this is helpful. And I would also write what each of those letters stands for here with it. So I would write this whole slide. This is super, super important information so that you have it. Okay, so y is the total. So you'll see what I mean when I say y is the total when we do some problems. The total is always going to be by itself. Okay, so whatever your total is, it's always by itself. K is your rate. Okay, so a rate is something where it's like miles per hour. Or let's see, let's do something like inches per second. So whenever you see the word per, the number that's in front of that is your k. Okay, so k is your rate. Remember when we were finding constant and proportionality, that's what k is, right, which is y over x. So you need to have 2 units. So anytime you see the word per, that's a huge indicator. That number in front of it, like say this was 5 would be k. And then c is the constant, which is also your starting number. So whatever value you are given that you're starting with and doesn't change, that is c. You add that to the end. Okay, so let's put this into context. Okay, so we're going to identify the rate, constant, and the total. I'm going to rewrite that equation, y equals kx plus c. Okay, so the rate is k. This is my rate. My constant is c. This is my constant. And then my total, my total here, this is y. Okay. So it says that Kelly spent $430 to fix her car. The mechanic charged an inspection fee of $50, then $76 per hour of labor. Okay. So if Kelly spent $430 to fix her car, right? This $430, that's the total amount she paid, right? That's all the money she gave her mechanic. So this $430 is the total. Okay. And she was charged an inspection fee of $50. Now, once she pays this inspection fee, she doesn't have to pay $50 ever again because it's a one-time fee. So since she pays this $50 once, that is my constant. And then remember this $76 per. The per right there tells you that this 76 is your rate. Okay, so my rate is 76. my constant is 50, and then my total is 430. And that's all we're doing here. We're just identifying. We're not putting it into the equation quite yet. So let's try it again. It says that Marissa's plant is 15 inches tall. When she bought the plant, it was 7 inches tall. Since then, it has grown 1 inch per month. Okay, so I'm going to try and color code this one because I feel like that other one, there's a lot of red. Kind of made it hard to look at. So kx and then plus c. Okay, so let's look at my rate. Remember, my rate is my k. So I'm looking for a number that gives me a rate, right? So something per whatever. So this is 15 inches tall, and when she got the plant, it was 7 inches tall. And it grows 1 inch per month. So 1 inch per month, that is my rate. Okay, so my rate here is 1. Now let's look for total. So I have these two numbers left. It says that Marissa's plant is 15 inches tall, and when she bought it, it was 7 inches tall. So between these two, which is the end result? Meaning, how tall is Marissa's plant now? Well, when she bought it, it was 7, and now it's 15, right? So 15 inches, that is going to be my total here. That is the end result. And then the last one, see my constant. So remember, constant is also your starting point. So when she first bought this plant, it was 7 inches, which means that my constant here is going to be 7. Constant is 7. So let's take this one step further, and let's replace all of these numbers into our equation here. Okay, so let's start with my total, right? My total is 15, which means that this y I'm going to take out and replace it with this 15. So I have 15 equals. All right, now let's do my rate. Remember, your rate goes in place of k, so I have 1 times x. And then let's replace my c with 7, plus 7. So your whole equation here is 15 equals 1x plus 7. Now, when you are replacing this y, k, and c with these numbers, you do not write y, k, or c. You should only have one variable in your final equation. Okay, so notice here I have just my one variable, and that's it. You only have one. If you have two, then you did something wrong. Okay, your rate is always going to be attached to a variable. And on one side of your equal sign, you should always have just a number. Alright, second letter of the quiz code is A as in apple. A as in apple. So you should have P-A all lowercase. Alright, now let's write an equation. So again, remember our equation is y equals kx plus c. It says that Julia earns $13 per hour. She receives a $40 bonus each week, and she earned $235 in 1 week. Write an equation to describe this situation. Okay, well, let's think about it. So my total here, how much total money did Julia earn at the end of her week? Well, she earns $13 per hour. She can get a $40 bonus, and then she earns $235. So this $235 is my total. That is my end result. That is how much money she has at the end of her week. The next thing I want to figure out is my rate, right? Rate is my K. She earns $13 per hour. Here's that word per again. That tells me that this 13 is my rate. And then my last part, the last number I haven't used is this 40, right? If she earns a $40 bonus each week. So that $40 is what she's starting with. So that means my constant is going to be 40. And the reason why this constant is 40 is because she can only receive that bonus once a week. She can't earn multiple $40 bonuses. So that's why this 40 is just at the end. Alright, so now it's time to go in and replace my y, k, and my c with these numbers here. Right, remember my total, this is my y, is 235. My rate is 13. And my constant is 40. So here is my equation. All right, another problem where we're writing an equation. Remember, it is y equals kx plus c. Okay. It says that Jake's air conditioning service charges a $25 flat fee and an additional $35 per hour. Erica spent $130 to have her air conditioner fixed. Write an equation to describe the situation. So let's look at this first number here, this 25. If she used, or Jake, there should be a his. So if Jake has to pay a $25 flat fee just to have it looked at, right? That $25 he is paying once and only once. So that means that that 25 is C, my constant. Okay, because he's only paying it one time, he's charged that once. Okay, now let's look at this second number here, this $35 per hour. Well, there's that word per again, right? So that means it is my rate. So my K here is 35, which means that my last number, my Y, my total, it says that, it's Jake's air conditioning service. So that's the name of the air conditioning service. So Erica spent $130, right, to have her air conditioning fixed. So this $135 includes this $25 flat fee, plus however many hours they had to work to fix it, right? This is the total amount that she spent. It's 130. So replacing all of my numbers here with my variables up here, my y, k, and c, right? I have 830 equals 35x plus 25. Okay. So when you're writing equations, you need to identify your constant or your starting or something that you only have to pay once, right? If you're talking about money. Your rate, which is K, remember use the per, and the total amount of money spent, or your total. Whatever your end result is your total. All right, let's write one more equation, I think. I don't know if I have another one after this. Let's find out. So a vacation rental home costs $75 per night, plus an additional $39 for each day's cleaning service. A family paid $399 for their stay. Okay, so $35 per night, right? That is my rate because of this word per right here, it tells me. So my rate, or K, is 75. Remember, you should have y equals kx plus c. Okay. The next one, they charge an additional $39 for cleaning. Right, so $39 for cleaning. So that's my constant because I paid $39 for them to clean. And then the last number over here is going to be my total, right? Because that's how much total money they spent for their stay. They paid $339. So then when I go through and write these, I have my total, 339, equals my rate, which is 75, x plus 39. So again, all you're doing is identifying rate, your constant, and your total. And third letter of the quiz code is N as in nice. N as in nice. So you should have P-A-N, all lowercase. Alrighty, so these ones, they will give you a table like this, right, with all these values filled in, and then usually one missing value that you're supposed to find, and it'll tell you this little scenario here. This is that Lee belongs to a movie club where each month there is a basic fee of $5 and is then able to rent movies at $2 each for the remainder of the month. The function table over here shows the relationship between the number of movies he rents in a month and the cost. What would be the cost if Lee rented 7 movies? Okay, well, you have to think that they charge a $5 fee every month, right? Regardless of however many movies you rent. So $5 is your constant. That's how much you're being charged every month. Then, for each movie, it's $2, right? So if I rent one movie, that is $2. If I rent 2 movies, that is $4. If I rent 3 movies, that is $6, right? And I'm getting these numbers by doing 1 times 2, because it's $2 per movie, right? 2 times 2 gives me 4. 3 times 2 gives me 6, okay? Because that's how much it is per movie. So if he rented 7 movies, right, he is paying this $5 plus 2 times 7, because he rented 7 movies. So for those 7 movies, each of them are $2, so 2 times 7 is 14. And don't forget to add this $5 basic fee. This is where so many people make mistakes. They forget to add your constant. So when you add these two together, Lee will pay $19. So if you notice, we didn't really use this table, and that's okay. If you like to look at this table and you can use it to help, or if you like the visual, that's fine. But there's multiple ways that you can solve this. You don't have to use the table, especially when it gives you this little blurb of the question here. Okay, so here's another one. The local library charges 6 cents for each day that a book is overdue, plus a one-time record-keeping fee of 19 cents. The function table below shows the relationship between the number of days a book was due and the total penalty in cents. What would be the total penalty for a book that was 37 days overdue? Okay, so here again they give us this table and we're asked to figure out this value here where the question mark is, right? So every day that your book is overdue, you are charged 6 cents. Okay, so that means if I am 37 days overdue and I am paying 6 cents each day, I want to do 37 times 6. So I'm going to grab my calculator and do 37 times 6, and I get 222. Now, don't forget that they also charge a one-time fee of 19 cents, which means that you are paying 222 cents plus 19, which gives me 241 cents. So for these type of problems, you want to figure out, well, what's my one-time fee, right? Here it's 19 cents. And how much am I charged each day? I'm charged 6 cents each day, which means I need to do 6 times the number of days it's overdue. Then don't forget to add them together. Okay, adding them together is super important. Don't forget to do that. All right. Fourth letter of the quiz code is D as in drive. D as in drive. So you should have P-A-N-D, all lowercase. All right. Writing an equation from a table. This is a little bit different. It says that yesterday Chang planted 6 trees that were each 8 feet tall in his yard. Chang projected the trees' growth at the same annual rate over the next 5 years. Assume that X represents the amount of years when Chang planted the trees. Write an equation that represents the height of the fir tree in feet after 5 years. Okay, I'm going to ignore this for right now. So the reason why I included this question is because I believe this is a checkpoint question. I took out some of the information but I wanted to go over this because it's very tricky the way that the question is worded. Okay, so they don't tell you in the checkpoint that they want you to write the equation in terms of feet. Okay, if you look here at our table, all of these two for sugar maple and the Fraser fir, they're given, our rates are in inches, not in feet. Okay, which means that we need to take inches and convert it to feet. Okay, so if I have a ruler, right, pretend this is 1 foot of a ruler. So I have 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, right? This last part doesn't exist. So if I have my ruler and, oops, sorry, and I only go to 3, right, from here to here, I am missing 1, 2, 3 segments to get to a foot, which means that out of these 4, 3 inches is equivalent to 1 over 4 feet. Or you could also just do 3 divided by 12. That will give you 1 over 4. So knowing that 3 inches is 1 over 4 feet, this is also 0.25. Okay, so remember that after 5 years, okay, the tree is growing at 0.25 feet every year. So the first thing you want to do is 5 times 0.25. And when you type this into a calculator, you should get 1.25. So this is how much more the tree has grown. However, when he bought it, it was 8 feet tall. Right? So now, if it started at 8 feet and it has grown 1.25, you need to add those together. You get 9.25 feet. Okay. Remember my rate was 0.25x, and my starting height of my tree is 8. Okay. So that was kind of a lot of information to process for this one question. If you want me to go over it again with you, let me know. This question's tricky. I don't think you have one like this on your exam. If you do, I'll make sure that I go over it beforehand so you see it again. Did I skip one? I did. Alright, so this is a tricky question, or tricky checkpoint question I wanted to go over with you guys. So Misaki is measuring her office, which is rectangular. Okay, so if it's a rectangular office, it's going to look something like this. It says that the length of the room is 9 feet, okay, and the perimeter is 42 feet. So my perimeter is 42 feet. Which equation represents the perimeter in terms of the width, W? So what this is asking for here is, this is saying, which one of these equations could I use to find my perimeter and give me 42 feet? Okay, so, well, if this side is 9 feet, this side also has to be 9 feet, right? And I don't know what this side is or what this side is, but they have to be the same because it's a rectangle. So I have W, W, 9, and 9. So this first one here, if I were to take my 2 and distribute my 2, right, because that's what this is distributive property, I get 2 times 18, which is 36. So this cannot be one of them. For this second one, B, I have 2 times 9 and 2 times W. Well, if I look at this equation here, how many 9s do I have? 2, right? I have 1, 2. So I have 2 9s, which is good. And if I look at this picture, how many W's do I have? 2, which is also good. So B is looking good. Let's double check C and D. Well, this equation is telling me I have 2 W's, but only 1 9, so that can't be it. And this last one, sorry, the fourth one, I have 2 9s, but only 1 W, so that one can't be it. So The answer that you want to pick here is B, or whatever one looks like it. So the answer is 2 times 9 plus W equals 42. I just feel like this one was tricky because the course didn't teach you how to write equations like this, where you're distributing. Okay. This is another tricky one that I wanted to go over, and the reason why is because this. So it tells you that this fencing company fences based off the amount of fencing installed plus a fixed amount of $200. The company charges $4 per foot. Okay, so what you have to do here is when you're talking about fence, like if you're putting a fence up around your house, when you put your fence up, your fence is going to go all along the outside, right? You don't want fences that go all in between here, this middle area, right? Because that's inside of your house. You don't want fences inside of your house. The fences only go on the outside. So what you are trying to find here is the perimeter. Okay, once you find perimeter, then you can multiply it by this $4 per foot. So let's go through these. This first one says that it cost $560 to enclose a 50 by 40 rectangular area. So I have 50 by 40. Now remember, I'm finding perimeter, which means I'm adding all 4 of my sides. So this is 50 and this is 40. So I have 50 plus 40 plus 50 plus 40, which is 180. Now this 180, I need to multiply by 4, right? Because it's $4 per foot, and it's 180 feet. So 180 times 4 is 720. So it can't be A. All right. So now let's try the second one. So I'm going to erase this so I have more room. Let's try the second one. Second one says it's 80 by 80. Right, well that means this side's also 80 and this side's also 80. So to find my perimeter, remember I add up all 4 sides, and 80 plus 80 plus 80 plus 80 gives me 320. I'm just going to double check. Yes, okay. So now I have to take that 320 and multiply it by 4 because it's $4 per foot. When I do that, I get 1,280. Now here you might go, okay, that's not the same price, so it can't be that. However, don't forget this up here, this fixed amount that you're charged of 200, which means you need to add that $200 in. And when you do that, you get this, which means that B is the correct answer. So you can't forget to add in the fixed amount. So don't forget to do that. All right, so lesson intentions. I guess this is success criteria. Can I define the parts of an equation? Can I write an equation? And can I decode tables and information in them to solve problems? And then the 5th letter of the quiz code is A as in avatar. A as in avatar. All right, so that is all I have. The quiz code is Panda, all lowercase. So go ahead and take your quiz. If you have questions or want extra help with any of this stuff, please let me know. That equation, the equation setup, this y equals kx plus c. Remember this, write this down somewhere, have it somewhere where you can see it all the time. It'll help you a lot when you're solving these, when you're trying to write equations. All right, that's all I got. I will talk to you guys next week, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.